Ahead of the FIA Formula One Qatar Grand Prix. We've got the usual two groups coming your way. Group 1 in front of us now. Left of screen we have Liam Lawson, Ollie Behrman in the middle, and Kimi Antonelli right of screen. Very warm welcome to you all. Hope you all had a good journey over from Vegas. Kimi, can we start with you and just reflect for a moment on what happened on Sunday in terms of your finishing...
Saturday, you mean?
Saturday, very good point. Thank you for picking me up on that. Look, in terms of your finishing position, not your best result this year, but in terms of execution, was that your best race of 2025?
I think it was definitely because we executed everything very well. Obviously, the strategy was pretty crazy, but we made it stick. And it was good, it changed the whole race, and the fact that we were able to hold on to that one stop, it allowed us to finish where we finished at the end. So definitely, was really good execution-wise, and I think also on my side was probably the best race of the season so far, because in that stint I was able to manage the tires and also to put together everything I've learned during the season, and it was nice because it just kept going, kept coming, and it was good fun.
Can we talk about what you've learned during the season? I mean, because if you think of Interlagos, we think of Baku, the results have been getting progressively better. What is the biggest thing you've learned in this first season?
Well, there's many things that I've learned in the season, but definitely, we can go. I've learned definitely what I understood a lot better about my needs on the track, off track, but as well, on the mindset. I think having the right mindset before going into a session is crucial. Having the focus on the right things, on the important things, and not just focusing on the final result, just focusing how to get there, and that means doing everything right, and then a lot of other bits, but I think so I grew up a lot during the season. I became more mature, especially overcoming the difficult moments really made me grow, and now I can handle situations better. Of course, there's room of improvement, but we're on the good trajectory so far.
And Kimi, what about this weekend in Baku? Do you think Mercedes can mix it with McLaren and Red Bull at the front again?
In Baku or Qatar?
Here, sorry, in Qatar.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. I understand the jet lag can be.
Where are we?
This weekend, right? Because you confuse me as well now.
No,
okay.
Just this weekend. Do you think Mercedes can challenge?
I mean, you never know. I think last year actually Mercedes was quite strong especially in qualifying. So hopefully we can be as strong or even better. Of course, this year has been a bit of a funny trend. In the tracks where we were meant to be good, we were not so good. But in other tracks where we were we were actually pretty good. So I think we'll see tomorrow. But the important thing is to start with the right foot, good rhythm, and just having a nice progression during the whole weekend. But really looking forward to it. To be fair, obviously last two races of the season, and really aiming to finish on a high.
Very good luck with it. We got there in the end. Thank you, Kimi. Now, Ollie, let's come to you. You're on a roll. 5 consecutive points finishes now. Just how much confidence have you got in the car?
Yeah, a lot. Basically, since we bought that upgrade in Austin, but even before that, it's been a good run of races. With the Mexico, P4, P6 in Brazil, Las Vegas, P12 on track, and luckily managing to get up there in P10. But actually, I think Vegas was a good mark for us, that even on a bad weekend we can be there or thereabouts, and we were lucky to score points, but that was not our best weekend on paper, and it didn't turn out the best for us, the race, in terms of strategy and my feeling with the car. So despite all of that, we finished very close to the points and were lucky to get in the points. And that gives me a really good feeling heading into the last two.
You referenced the upgrade in Austin. What has that allowed you to unleash in the car?
Drive a bit quicker. It's giving us the feeling that we've been chasing all year, basically. Makes the car a bit more on edge on occasion, with specific wind conditions and traffic, for example, can be a bit more challenging with this upgrade. But I think that's always the trade-off that you're playing with, especially this late into a cycle of regs. So, yeah, I think it's given us a few tenths, probably not even a few, even a tenth and a half. But with the way that F1 is at the moment, that's enough to put you enough up the order. So of course it was a risk taking that upgrade this late into the season with the new regs next year. But I think based on our position and that every constructor's position is incredibly valuable to a team like Haas, I think we've done the right call.
And do you think the car will suit the fast sweeps of the Lusail circuit?
I hope so. I mean, the team had a good race here last year. And with our car characteristics, I mean, when I was looking at the last 5 or 6 events, Vegas was the one that I was least looking forward to. And to come away there with with 2 cars in the points really tells me that we can fight on any track. So it's less really down to car performance and more down to execution and getting that right. We know that quali is incredibly tight, so it's just about putting the car in the perfect window and executing.
First full season in Formula One, almost done. Just where do you think you've improved as a driver this year?
I think using my speed and taking the right measured risk in the correct moments is something that I've improved on, because coming from F2 where free practice you put the car already on the limit in lap 2 or lap 3 because you have one set of tires and the tires are degrading a lot, so you need to find out what the car is capable of before you get into quali. But then generally on an F1 weekend you have so many sets of tires and so many sessions that you have time to build up, and that approach is something that I haven't really taken since Formula 4, because when you're in F3 and F2, you have no time on track and no tires. So kind of resetting my driving, my approach back to building up step by step and slowly finding out the limitations of the car. Because at the end, Friday, not this weekend, but a general Friday with just FP1 and FP2 doesn't really matter that much. The main thing is that you correct the balance and get the car in the perfect window, and then on Saturday is really when you start to go for it and push a bit more. So that and also structuring my weekends a bit better. It's so much more busy here in Formula One compared to what we've been used to. So managing even the energy levels even across the full season. So there's a lot of things, but I'm also glad that it's been going well the second half and want to finish now on a high.
All right, well, good luck with that. Thank you. And Liam, let's start with season reflections from you as well. It's been a roller coaster of a year for you. What's the biggest thing you've learned?
I think with how many races we have, that you just don't have time to really dwell. I think it's important that you obviously reflect on each weekend and you try and take the positives and try and learn from each weekend, but that to go through this many weekends and trying to not get stuck up on something or caught up in emotion is very tough. So as an example, last weekend to have a very smooth weekend all the way up to the race and be in a great position, and then a very small mistake throw that all away. It's extremely frustrating, but obviously we're racing again this weekend and you just don't have time to dwell on it too much.
Let's look at the positives from last weekend, though. The quali pace was good. Just how difficult has it been to get a one lap out of the car this year?
I would say it's definitely been more of a struggle for me. I think the car's been very quick, and I think that's been what we've really worked on our side a lot more this year, trying to extract one lap out of the car and out of me. And I think that it's got a lot better through the year. Obviously, Vegas was very specific. It was more like 12 laps than 1 lap with the way quali was. But I think it's been getting better through the year, and with how close it is, it's just putting everything together. I mean, in a whole weekend, trying to execute everything is hard enough. So that's been really the challenge in a season that's this close. And it's also why when things don't go smoothly, you can lose quite a lot.
Vegas, Qatar, they're at polar opposites almost in terms of what you need to be quick. Do you think you can deliver this weekend here?
It's kind of like what Kemi said. We've had a lot of races we expected to either be quick at and not be quick at, or we've had a tough race last year. For us, Qatar last year was probably one of the hardest. So I'm hoping that means that for whatever reason we're good this year, but it's very hard to know. So it's a very different track to Vegas, but yeah, I think we're in a much better place now with the car than we've been last year. We have a better understanding. But obviously being a sprint, it's going to be a challenge for sure, but I think hopefully we can have a good weekend.
All right, thank you for that. Thanks, all three. Let's now open this to the floor. We will start with the broadcasters and David Croft.
Yeah, David Croft, Sky Sports F1. Kimi, let's ask you. 48 laps on the hard tyre, amazing. Could you have done that in the first 3 or 4 races of this season? And if the answer is no, what changed in you over the course of the year that you could deal with being asked to do a strategy like that?
Well, definitely no. I wouldn't be able to do it at the start of the season. I think, during the season you learn a lot. Obviously, you go through different compounds. It's not the same compounds every races, but to be fair, the C3 has been a compound that I quite liked as well, among with the C4 and C5. So I think, just during the season you understand, obviously track to track is different, but you understand the behavior of the tire, and also you try to explore a little bit, whether in practice or in the race, with different pushing level and see how the tire responds. And that was Vegas was, I guess, the execution was the best of the season so far, because I put all the learnings that I did in previous races together, and that allowed me to do a long stint and to react also to the tire, to obviously with the age of the tire getting older and older lap by lap. I was able to also, with the support of the team, to react and to balance the car, especially in the last few laps, and to go until the end. And but I think definitely at the start of the season I would have stopped instead of going until the end.
Thanks for that, Kimi. Right, who's next, please? Yep.
Hello, Manos Sedanis from Adena TV Greece. A question for Kimi and Oliver. Last year you were here as teammates in F2, going to F1 with a lot of expectations from you. So 1 year on, what is the biggest challenge you have faced, and what was the most pleasant surprise of maybe situation or something that you have to do in F1 that you thought it might be even more difficult than it is?
You want to go or
I go.
Yeah.
Biggest surprise or biggest difference, I would say, is probably how busy you are compared to F2. We do almost double the races in Formula One, but also away from the track, a lot more activations with partners, a lot more media commitments. So, for example, next year we start already in week 2 or week 3, and so there's not really breaks like we had and what we were used to in Formula 2. So your energy level, it's one thing driving the car, but the other thing is arriving at the track always 100% ready to go. And I think the biggest surprise is that, or the biggest benefit is that the car is really, really fun to drive. I really enjoy putting the F1 car at the limit, especially in qualifying. It's always a pleasure. And probably the travel's a bit easier now. We get to fly in business class, and that's a bit more comfortable.
I think the biggest surprise. Well, also definitely the commitments that you get to have during weekends, but as well outside race weekends. I think that has been one of the biggest factor and one of the biggest learnings as well. Trying to manage the energy the best way as possible, trying to move things around just to in your own benefit. So definitely that has been the biggest challenge. I'm not gonna lie, there were moments in the season where I felt pretty drained, but now obviously I know what to expect much better, and I think also next year is gonna be a bit easier, because obviously going through this year and experiencing all this kind of stuff will help for next year to be also more in control of the situation. But on the other side, you get to drive these amazing cars. They're extremely quick, and it's a lot of fun, especially in qualifying. The limit is so high that it's fun to go out there and try to discover how much you can push the car. So it's been a lot of fun driving the car, and I'm not gonna lie. Also, some tracks that they were not so fun, maybe in F2. With the F1, they were a lot more fun to drive. So I think it's been very special to have the opportunity to drive such a car. And just obviously next year is going to be a big difference, but we still get to drive the fastest car in the world.
Kimi, which circuits come alive in a Formula One car?
I think most of them. I was very impressed with Monaco by how quick you could go around with an F1 car. For example, that's one of them. But if I go, also Barcelona was pretty special with the F1. I mean, getting the last corner flat in qualifying is pretty incredible. You wouldn't think to do that, and you wouldn't want to do that with an F2, because otherwise you end up in the grandstand with the spectators. In the city center. But it's incredible. That's another track. And also Budapest, I was very impressed with the F1. So, all the tracks, they kind of become special, with the F1, because it doesn't matter how narrow they are or how short they are. With the F1, you can still go really fast around. So it's pretty special.
All right. Thanks both. Yeah, Mara.
Mara San Giorgio, a question for Kimi. Considering you are speaking about F2, there is a leading Italian driver who is fighting for his championship. Are you following their battle? I consider your experience there. What will be very fundamental for him in the last two rounds?
Yeah, no, of course I'm following. Also, he's a good friend of mine. Leo. He's been doing great. I mean, since last year in F3, he's been doing. He's had a massive step. And I'm really happy for him and to see him on top of the standing so far. So, it's been very consistent this year, and that's what made the difference compared to the others. He was always there and always getting good points. So I think, the goal is to try and continue this consistency and, to stay at the top. And I really wish him the best, because I would be really happy for him in case he will be able to achieve this massive result. And but I have no doubts. The speed has been incredible from him, and consistency as well. So really looking forward as well for him for the last round to see how he does.
Mid-season was a bit tough for you. Was there any time that you doubted yourself? And if yes, how did you overcome?
Well, yeah, for sure. Many times. I think, since we went on the new suspension, I struggled quite a lot, especially to adapt. George, on the other hand, despite we lost performance with the new suspension, George was able to adapt, and I struggled quite a lot more. And I just entered in this, negative spiral where I was just, it felt like it just kept getting worse and worse, and frustration was just getting over. And I think my darkest moment was Spa, probably. And definitely I've been doubting myself a lot, because obviously seeing the result not coming, then you just start to ask yourself if you're good enough. And so it wasn't easy, but then that's why also I did a big meeting with the team after Monza, and I did a big reset mentally and just tried to refocus on the important stuff, on the process, and that really helped. And that was a big learning as well.